For our organisations and our people to make better, more effective and healthy choices over both the short and long term, we believe that flexibility is key. In this video, I'd like to talk about what we mean by flexibility and why we see it as such a helpful way to understand what is effective, how we can behave more effectively while also behaving healthily too. And so, to help us understand what makes behaviour effective, I'd like to take us back to basics. Firstly, we take the position that any and all behaviour can only really be understood in its context. And when we talk about context, we mean both the external context and the internal context. So when I say external context, for a person, let's think of that as all of the features of the world that exist outside us, that we interact with using our five senses. For an organisation, it's all the features of the world around the organisation, the market, geography, politics, technology, ecology, all of that stuff. And when I say internal context, for a person, that's the features of the world within us, our biology and physiology, our learning histories, the meaning we make of our experiences, our current thoughts, emotions, memories, urges and physical sensations. For an organisation, it's the inner workings, the strategies, the people, processes, technology and their interactions, what's reinforced, what information is shared and what stories are told. So what's effective for one person in a given situation might well be different for that same person on another occasion, or for another person in a similar situation. Perhaps I might make a presentation one day and it goes down well with my audience, but I give the same presentation on another day and perhaps it doesn't go down so well. It might be because of what's going on around me or within me. So much of the time at work we focus on the external context, how the world around us impacts us. Perhaps we're responding to that perennial external source of work, the onslaught of emails in our inboxes. Or perhaps we're scrabbling to catch up on whatever the latest fad is or what the competition is doing. Yet sometimes it can help to notice our internal context a bit more. How it's influencing how we perceive and interact with our world, often without us even being aware. Perhaps if we did so a little bit more, we might notice how we were maybe avoiding a difficult conversation because it feels uncomfortable. Or perhaps we might notice that we've not put ourselves forward for that conference because a thought suggested that we might be seen as an imposter. Or perhaps we might notice how the book we've been reading is starting to inspire new perspectives that can help us better interact with the world around us. The second key point that I'd like to make about what makes behaviour effective is that it's going to depend on what was intended or expected or hoped for, or what's valued as a result of the behaviour by the person or the organisation doing the behaving. For example, what I think is effective and healthy behaviour for me might be quite different to what's effective and healthy for you. Or what a consultant thinks is effective and healthy for your organisation might be different to how your organisation sees those outcomes. At times, hearing about different opinions and perspectives may be helpful and informative, but the one who gets to experience the meaning, effectiveness and healthiness of their behaviour as they intended it is the one doing the behaving. Yet so much of our lives as individuals and as organisations is spent on a kind of autopilot. We don't necessarily connect with what's meaningful or what matters to us, how we want to show up, and whether our behaviour is aligned with that in any way. And when this happens, we don't really notice whether our behaviour is effective or healthy for us. Nor do we notice how a small step or slight adjustment might help us to be more aligned with what matters to us and more able to show up as we aim to be. So, what's flexibility got to do with all this? Well, it's really about drawing these ideas together. If we want to be effective and healthy over both the short and long term, we need to be able to notice what options we have for doing stuff that matters, for showing up as we aim to be. What's going to help us and our organisations to do what matters will be found within the context. Using features of the world both inside us and around us, which provide us with opportunities for doing what matters. But also, what's going to hinder us and our organisations from doing what matters will also be found within the context. The features of the world inside us and around us which provide challenges or constraints that limit us from doing what matters. So the name of the game is to relate better with our ever-changing contexts so that we're better able to spot and take opportunities that are available for doing that stuff that matters, even in light of the challenges that may be limiting us. And for this we need flexibility. Flexibility in terms of how we relate to our internal worlds and the world around us. Flexibility in terms of the perspectives we're open to and where we place our attention. Flexibility in terms of choosing the next opportunity for doing what matters. And that might mean making a change. It might mean continuing to do the same thing. It might even mean staying still and doing nothing. It depends on what aligns with what matters to you and your organisation. We design and run bespoke training and coaching to support organisations and their people to cultivate greater flexibility for greater effectiveness and health. If you'd like to find out more, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I'm Annie Gascoigne, and I hope you have enjoyed my video.